Getting started mountain biking is a daunting experience. And the last thing you should have to worry about is what bike to choose. But oftentimes, it seems like we're stuck deciding between something that costs as much as a new car or a beat and battered used bike that's finicky at best and downright dangerous at worst. But I think BikesOnline.com might just have the solution. Meet the Polygon Xtrada 7. There are several reasons why I think this humble, affordable hardtail is the ultimate first mountain bike, and I'll get into each one in this video. But let's start with the modern, feature-packed frame. The frame on the Polygon Xtrada 7 is packed full of awesome modern amenities that make it not only great straight out of the box, but also a really good platform should you choose to upgrade the bike later on down the road. One of those things is these 12x148 boost rear axles. This makes for a stiffer and stronger interface between the frame and the rear wheel, as well as makes the bike compatible with just about every mountain bike wheel on the market. It also has a tapered head tube for increased stiffness at the front of the bike, a threaded bottom bracket for easy maintenance, and is topped off with some clean internal cable routing, including for a dropper post, should you choose to add one later on. If all that sounds a bit like gibberish to you, then don't worry about it. The important thing is that this bike should last you long into your mountain biking hobby and has all the modern features that you'd find on bikes that cost 5, 6, 7 times as much as the Xtrada 7. Speaking of modern, one of my favorite things about the Xtrada 7 is its new school cross-country geometry, which strikes the perfect balance between agility and stability. And that's exactly what you want when you're getting started riding. One of the more significant numbers here is the 67-degree head tube angle, which is slack enough to keep you out of trouble on steeper descents, but not so raked out that it feels sloppy or unmanageable at lower speeds. This means you'll feel confident and in control whether you're climbing, cornering, or tackling technical sections of trail. It also has a low-slung top tube that makes getting on and off the bike a breeze and gives you plenty of clearance to move around over the frame while riding. Now, one thing that will make you quit mountain biking faster than I can say new school cross-country geometry is crappy components. And thankfully, you're not going to find any of those here. To me, the biggest highlight has to be this 12-speed Shimano Dior drivetrain, which is unheard of at this price point. This group set is known for its durability and smooth performance, and the 11 to 51 tooth cassette will give you all the gear range you need for single track adventures. As you can see, the Xtrada 7 also gets rid of the front derailleur, but there are some derailleur mounts should you choose to add one later on. Most mountain bikers, though, find that they don't need one. These 12-speed cassettes in the back, like I mentioned earlier, have plenty of range. You're also going to get a set of Shimano BLM201 hydraulic disc brakes. These provide consistent stopping power in all conditions, whether you're riding in wet mud, like I have been this winter, or dry dust. For beginners, having reliable brakes is crucial for building confidence and staying safe on the trails. At the front of the bike is an SR Suntour XCR 32 fork delivering 120 millimeters of travel. And while it might look like the same fork that you find on a lot of other budget-friendly bikes, there is one significant difference, and that's that this one is air sprung. This means it's essentially infinitely adjustable to suit your needs and riding styles, as well as keeping weight down when compared to coil-sprung forks. Another standout feature are these tubeless-ready wheels, and as the name would imply, that means that you can run them without tubes. This allows you to save some weight, but more importantly, decreases punctures, allows you to run lower tire pressure, giving you more grip. The wheels themselves are wrapped in some 2.25-inch WTB Trail Boss tires that pair low weight and low rolling resistance with more than enough grip in most conditions. Together, this puts the weight of the Xtrada 7 at just 29.5 pounds or 13.4 kilograms. So whether you're looking to go on long fire road explorations or start exploring your local single track, the Xtrada 7 is the bike to do it on. Well, I'd say that's enough technical stuff for one video. Let's move on now to what really matters, and that's how this thing feels on the trail. But before I do so, if you've been enjoying this video, then go ahead and hit that like button for us. Thank you very much. Now back to the bike. For beginners, the learning curve into mountain biking can be pretty steep, but the Xtrada 7's confidence-inspiring geometry and high-quality components are meant to make things as easy as possible. I was really impressed by how well the bike tracked through rocky sections of trail, which I think is due in large part to the 120 millimeters of travel up front, which is 20 to 40 millimeters more than most comparable bikes. This not only inspires confidence, but will also keep you safe as you progress as a rider. That said, the bike was still extremely fun and manageable on less technical trails, and it could be a great bike to use to commute to work during the weekdays and then take on a mountain bike ride on the weekend. Now, as we all know, one of the hardest things about mountain biking are those steep, challenging climbs. But the Xtrada 7's lightweight build and fast rolling tires made this thing climb like a dream. I oftentimes joke that the cheapest e-bike is actually just a cross-country hardtail like the Xtrada 7. And that's just because they're so much more efficient and easy on the way up. I know a lot of people like to rave about full suspension bikes, but the extra heft and loss of efficiency isn't doing you any favors on the climbs. And between you and me, I personally feel that learning mountain bike fundamentals on a hardtail is going to make you a lot better rider later on, whether you do or don't switch to a full suspension bike down the road. Obviously, another thing that was helping on the climbs was that Shimano Dior drivetrain. Again, it has that big 51 tooth granny gear, which really does let you crank up those hills. But what impressed me even more was how reliable it was during my testing period. I never once missed a shift or needed to do any major adjustments. And the same can pretty much be said for the other components like the brakes and the fork. And that's super important because the last thing you want to do when you're starting off mountain biking is to have to fuss with low quality or used components. So a bike like the Xtrada 7 means less time in the garage and more time on the trail. So is the Polygon Xtrada 7 the best first mountain bike? Well, in my opinion, absolutely. With its modern features and geometry, reliable components, and of course, wallet-friendly price, it's a bike that's built to help you learn, grow, and have a ton of fun on the trails. But it's not just for beginners. I've been mountain biking for over a decade, and I honestly had way more fun than I expected taking that guy out on my local cross-country trails. Now, if you're ready to pull the trigger on the Xtrada 7, then I've got a link to buy the bike over at BikesOnline.com in the description. It's also worth noting that BikesOnline sells dozens of other affordable, beginner-friendly bikes. A couple of my favorites are the Polygon Siskiyou D6 SE, or of course the legendary Polygon Siskiyou T8. If you have any more questions about the Polygon Xtrada 7, or really any of the other bikes I just mentioned, I'd love to answer those down there in the comments. You can leave them there, as well as make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Bikes Online YouTube channel. After you've done that, get out there and get ripping.